Hello. Yeah, I think now it will be coming. Yeah, my bad. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, I think I should be audible now. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I think now it will be coming. Yeah, my bad. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, I think I should be audible now. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I think now it will be coming. Yeah, my bad. Sorry. Yeah, I think I should be. Yeah, I think now it will be coming. Yeah, my bad. Sorry. Yeah, I think I should be. Hello. Why the resound is coming? 1 second. Hello. Hi. Why the resound is coming? 1 second. Hi. Why the resound is coming? 1 second. Hello. 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 OMG. Hello. Hello. Yeah, I am audible, but yeah, some kind of resound is coming from my end. 1 second. Yeah. So can you just confirm if I'm audible now? Then like we can start. So I think there is some issue from my end. So let me see. 1 second. Properties. Okay. Yeah. Can you just once confirm if everything is okay? Then I will start now. If there is any background noise, please let me know. Hello. Yeah. Okay. Let me start then. Okay. Hello. Yeah. I will start. 1 second. Yeah, thanks, Bhavita, for confirming. Yeah, let's wait for. Sorry for the delay. So there is some audio issues. So I have to fix that. So I think my video is paused. I think so. Let me see what best I can do. So anyone joined? Other students like Morali, Vinutna, Abhinava. So if anyone joined, please put hi. Yeah. Okay. There is some issue with my video. It got freezed. Yeah, I hope it should be fine now. So let me start on the week 2. So hope everyone are, yeah, hi. Hi Prasanna. Yeah, sorry for the technical glitches. So let me start the session. It's already late by 10 minutes. So I will try to keep it simple and clean. Um, so for the week 2, we have updated the content. So it is about Python essentials. So what we have gone through in the week 2. So it is about functions, error handling, file operations, and asynchronous programming. Okay. So when it comes to functions, we have gone through few things like what are functions and what are the return values of the functions, and how do we define default arguments, and how do you define variable arguments, keyword arguments, what are lambda functions, what are decorators, what are doc strings, how it useful to maintain doc strings for the better readability of the code. And in error handling, we have gone through try block, exception block, final block. Yeah, so we covered all these topics. I don't want to repeat it again, but so in this particular live session, we will do couple of things. So one is I will just quickly glance at different examples we have gone through in each topic. One in functions and one in error handling, and one in file operations, and one in asynchronous programming. So for each topic, I will go through one example. So to just kind of a recap kind of thing. Then later we will go to couple of assignments, and then we will go through one particular mini project. So that way we will wrap up the live bootcamp session. So yes, so if I am audible, or if there is any noise issue or any video issue, so please ping me immediately. So I hope now the stream is good. So I have fixed all the technical glitches. So let's start on that note. So yeah, I need some encouragement. So yeah, please. So students, my well wishers and friends, yeah, if you can just ping, say hi, hello, then yep, then yeah, we can start everything. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So first, let me go through. See what is a function actually. So here we have, this is a function decorator. Okay. So I have a function called greet, and I have also function called process data. Okay. So maybe I can increase the zoom a bit. Yeah. So I have a couple of functions called greet, and there is one more function called process data. Uh, so both these functions have a decoration function called timer. So you know what is a decorator function. So decorator means you will maintain the essence of the original function, but you will be adding some additional things. So what are the additional things I am adding here is how much time that function took to execute. Okay. So my greet is the function. So what happens if I am if I am calling process data function, and this is like argument value. Don't worry, this is just 1 million. So 1 million in Python, you can also represent that 1 million instead of commas. You can use underscores also. So this is just want to show you like a different way to declare an integer argument also. Okay. So once you call this function, what happens here is it calls this function process data, and immediately there is a decorator for this function timer. So this timer function gets called now. So for this timer function, what is the argument? This entire function goes as an argument. So this process data is passed as an argument for this function, and now inside it we are telling return wrapper. Return wrapper means we are calling this particular function a function inside a function. Okay. So here we are telling start time. So it means, and this is the ended elapsed time or the ended time, and here I am calling this function. So what does it happen here? Here function means this is the function we passed. So the process data function is called here. Okay. And then for that function, we are adding this decorator like, okay, this is the time it elapsed. Okay. So let me run this, execute this cell. Because the cell is executing, or I will do one thing. I'll just restart, interrupt. Yes. Restart the cell. Okay. Hi Manoj. Hi Nageswar Rao. Yeah, let me run this cell. Okay. So here what happened is, yes. So I'm calling the function called process data. So for that I'm sending this argument. So now instead of directly printing this, so what I'm doing inside, I'm just adding the values, like I keep on adding 0 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3 like that until 1 million. So this is the value I got finally. But on top of this function I see a decorator. So the time it took to execute this function is almost 0.1 seconds. Okay. So how I am getting this decorator? So using this function, I'm defining a function within this function. So this is called, okay, clear. So here I have a function. So here I have a function process data. I am passing this process data function to this timer function, and inside this timer function, this particular function will be getting executed, nothing but this process data, and on top of that you will be getting the decorator. Okay, so that's all about the functions. And everybody know this is the function definition and how do you define a function. You can go through the content in the week 2, and then this is how to declare a decorator. So what happens whenever you see. Okay, so I will not go much details because there is a lot more to cover in this live session. So that's about the function and function decorators. Okay, yeah, here I am calling one more function called greet. So this greet accepts keyword arguments. It means I can pass here name and dictionary in key and value. So I am passing that argument to this greet function. So here I am getting the keys. First means the first key, the first name, and the last means I'm getting the last name. So if that particular key is not there, return me empty string. And here I'm fulfilling the role. So if the role is empty, if that role is there, print that role. But if the role is not defined, just use the default value as guest. So I am mixing here couple of things here. So I am getting the parameter names from the particular key values. If those keys are not there, use the default values for those keys, and then finally print those values, role and name. Okay, so here I am accepting the keyword arguments, here I am accepting the normal arguments, and both these are sent to this wrapper function. Okay, so that's how you define a function and a decorator, and how do you pass arguments, keyword arguments, and how do you call a function. Okay, so now any doubts in this function? I can pause for a second. If no, I will move on to the error handling. Yeah, so please see, this live session will be more interactive and more useful to the students unless and until we engage through chat medium. So if you can post some queries, if you can put some questions, so it will be very helpful for me also to understand. Okay, students are following the session. Okay, so I expect more engaging. So please, okay. So if no questions, yes, yeah, we can go to next set of segment in the live, which is about exception handling. Yes, so I have a very small example here. Let me explain. Yeah, now let me go through the other topic, which is called as error handling. So here in the error handling, I have a function again called process. So simply I am passing these transactions. So here so what the purpose is, okay, I am iterating through this transaction. So this is a dictionary. So, and while iterating each time I am calling a process function. Okay, so what here I am trying to do is I am trying to access a key called amount. So transaction amount, from that I am determining the current amount, and then if that amount is greater than balance, okay, then say it is insufficient funds. Okay, if it is not, then go and return the balance. Okay, so here I am passing the current process for tree. Here I am sending the amount is 200, and here I am passing the balance equal to 500. So here amount 200, I'm passing this and this key value here, this transaction value, amount is equal to 200. So transaction of amount is 200. So now the amount value is 200, 200 greater than 500. No. So it will say, okay, this is my balance is 500. Yes, and then amount is 200, so the balance will be 300. So this exception will not come. So this is called as insufficient fund errors. So these are called self-defined errors, or the user defined exceptions are called. So this is what I am defining as my exception. So whenever there is some exception in the withdrawing the money, it throws this exception like okay, and then we can catch that exception here. So this is the try block, this is the exception block, and this key error is the default Python build error, and this is the user defined exception. So let me run this. Yes, so in the first case the balance is 300 because I have withdrawn 200, and in the second case I am sending not a valid data. So in that case the program is complaining me about, okay, so there is a key error. Okay, so I am missing the key amount. So if that is not there, so then exception will come. So how I am catching that? Okay, amount is equal to transaction. So here I am not explicitly raising any exception. By default at this line, Python built-in function raises an exception at this line. Okay, and that exception is caught here, and the same I am seeing here. Okay, so what happens in the third case? Okay, I am telling amount is 9,000, but my balance is 3,300. Okay, so here I am telling, okay, so my current balance is 500. It is greater than the amount I am withdrawing is 9,000, but my balance is 300. So how can you withdraw amount? Okay, so in that case I will raise insufficient funds error, and then that exception is caught here in the insufficient fund error. So what are the key takeaways from this exception handling is, yes, yeah, the logic is good, but in the real time, based upon your inputs, if some value is good or bad, you can catch that particular exceptions. So that is how these, and you can also define user defined exception. This is my own exception, and I am raising that exception here, and I am catching that exception here. So this is how you define a try block and an exception block, and how do you print what kind of exception is, and how do you define a user defined exceptions. Okay, so I will not put more emphasis on this. So now let's go to the other example in the what we have gone through in the week 2. Yeah, in the week 2 we have gone through file operations. Yeah, this is very interesting things. Yeah, see here you identify one thing. So this is a list. So in this list I have a list as well as I have tuples. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to update this sales information to a file called sales.csv. So here what I am doing, writer is equal to csv.writer, and then I am initializing this writer here, and then writer I am writing this entire, which is called a heading row. So I am adding date, product, quantity and price. So I am writing that right row, and then I am writing all the rows at a time. See here, right? So all these rows I am writing into the CSV file in one shot, but I also need heading. So first I am filling the header. So I am initializing the writer, I am writing the heading, and I am writing all the rows at a time. Okay, so this is what happening in the first case. So after writing, I am reading here the same file. So while reading, why I am doing dictionary reader? So what it helps, because you can read each row as a dictionary. It means the key and the value will be, so date, product, so like that all the information will be there. So now after reading all the things, my aim is to compute how many sales happened. So I am doing here the total, and I am printing that into the new table called sales.csv. So here I am reading, here I am writing to a file, here I am reading into the file. So while reading, I am using this dictionary reader. After reading, I am doing some computations. I am doing the total sales, and then finally printing this revenue information into the sales. Okay, so write header, product total. So all those things I am writing into a sales summary. Okay, so let me execute this. Okay, laptop, mouse, keyboard, all this information I have printed here. So now let me show you that. So I think it should be here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is my sales. So all the files, all the data, all the sales data I have written into the file, and this is my sales summary. Yes, total sales on laptop is this much, and total sales on mouse and keyboard is this much. Okay. So I am putting here all the sales information. Okay, sales information, sales summary. So this is about you how to you write data into a CSV file, how to read data, and how to computations if you're reading from the file as a key dictionary. Okay, so all those things, and this is about print results. Okay, and now let's see one more last example in the asynchronous programming. Yeah, so please be put some focus here on what is happening in asynchronous programming. See, here I have a function fetch user. This is an asynchronous function, and there is a one more asynchronous function called main. So in the main I am calling this function thrice, and again I am calling this function using gather. Okay, so what is the difference between this approach and this approach? In one word, here I am calling this function one by one, and I am waiting here until this functionality is getting executed. So I'm not going to this next line until this fetch user operation is completed. So what is happening in the fetch user? So here I am sleeping for whatever seconds we mentioned. So this is just to give simulate, okay, something is happening inside the function. I am writing the sleep function. Okay, and the next level of thing is uh, and the next is I'm calling all these functions parallelly. So fetch user, fetch user, fetch user, all these three functions I'm calling at a time. So what happens here is this all these three functions will be called parallelly. Here this will not block. This is a non-blocking call actually. Async io.sleep means non-blocking. If you use regular time.sleep, this will be a blocking call. So I have a function which does some operation, and I'm calling this function by different users. So when second user is running, first user is running, second user has to wait. While third user is running, these two users has to wait. So you have it's all sequential approach. So now let's run this cell. So you can see here. So one by one it is happening. Total it took 0.94 seconds. But in case of parallel, each function is happening executing it parallelly, and total time it took is 0.31 seconds. Okay. So that is the power of this one function called await async io.gather. So if you call all the functions, or all these can be three different functions or the same function with the different arguments. So if you call like that, what happens is this will run parallelly, this will run parallelly, this will run parallelly, and all these three functions will run parallelly. Okay, so that's why in same amount of in 0.31 seconds all the functions got executed. So here sequentially it's happening, but the keywords is async, await, and if there is a async function, you can only call this async function directly like this await main. So await, this main is a async function. So whenever you need to call async function, you need to call like this, or you need to call from one more async function. So here fetch user is async function. So I can call this fetch user from one more async function main. You can't directly call from a normal function. So if I remove here this main, this async, if you try to call this, an error will come. You see, await outside async function, because I can't call this function outside. So definitely if I am calling a async function, the function from which I am calling should also be async, or else I can directly call await fetch user or await main. Okay. So that's about what we have gone through in week 2. So we have discussed 4 topics: asynchronous, and writing to files, reading to files, and then JSON files, CSV files, text files, and how to read, how to write, and what is the importance of this dictionary reader, and how to use exceptions in handling errors while in functions, and what are functions, decorators, different types of arguments, keyword arguments. So all these things we have gone in week 2. Okay, so before going into the assignment section, do you have any doubts in the topic wise? So you want me to repeat anything, or you want me to go directly to the assignments? Please let me know. Yeah, please, can someone please confirm if I am okay? So it's quite interesting. There are very less comments, but please, guys, please respond so I can confirm what is happening. Mhm. Okay, I think there is some issue with my live chat. Okay, yeah. Okay, so let me start with one particular assignment. So let me open my file here. So I will just go to couple of assignments. So I will keep it simple. So I will go to this password strength checker, or maybe I will try to do first open the questions first. 1 second, guys. So okay, so here in this functions intermediate, yep, password strength checker, assignments intermediate, yep. Yeah, here the idea is very simple for this assignment. What is the requirement? See, let's say in general you have a password. Yeah, like hello 123. So these are my list of passwords. Hello 123, password 1, strong password, short. No, this is my password. So when you are filling in Google or any other things, it will tell it is a weak password, it is a strong password. So like that, you want to determine what is what. So here now I will tell, okay, I need to write a function which computes the score, and then based on the score I will tell whether my password is strong or weak. So for example, score 3 means it is medium, score 5 means strong, score 7 means strong. So based upon the score you need to tell whether, so here it is how I am defining the score. The score is 0 to 2 means weak. If the score is 3 to 4 means it's medium. If the score is 5 to 7 means it is strong. So how do you compute the score now? So I have a password. Based upon the score, I can tell whether my password is weak, medium, or strong. So how do you compute score? This is where I compute score. If the length of the password is 8, score is 2. If the length is greater than 12, it is again I'm adding score 2. So 2 plus 2, score is now 4. If it contains digit like hello 1 to that, its score is 1. So like that you need to compute scores like this. Okay, and then you need to finally you need to define two functions here. So one is score password, score of the password, and then you need to strength label. So after determining the score, you need to pass that score value to the strength label, and then you need to determine the score, and finally you print it. Okay, so how do you write a code for it? Okay, so I will just show you the thought process for it. So how, so then you can just practice. So maybe I'll directly jump to the solution rather than, okay, so let me go to the solution segment, and then yep, yeah. So now let's see here. I need to define two functions: score password and strength label. Okay, so the score password will compute the score and then return the score. The strength label will determine the strength, and it returns whether it's weak, medium, or strong. So it is very straightforward. How do you define score? Simple. The answer is here only. So if the length of the password is, so I'm just gathering these requirements, and then from this I am framing a logic. So if the length is greater than 2, 8, password is, the score is 2. And then score plus is equal to 2 means I'm just incrementing the password. Okay, so we need to check lot of parameters for that password. Okay, if the length is greater than 8, yes, 2. But again, if the length is greater than 12, so score is 2 plus 2, now 4. If it is digit, add one more to the score 5. So like that, you need to keep incrementing the score. You need to check different qualities for that password, and then finally you return that score. Strength is like, yes, yeah, if it is less than 2 it is weak, if it is less than 4 medium, and it is greater than 4 it is strong. Okay, so what are the key concepts we have used here to compute this assignment, to perform to? So one is, yes, you need to define just two functions, score password and strength label, understand the requirement and convert that requirement into a logic, and this is the requirement, I convert that into a logic, and finally I'm calling this two functions, score password and strength label. So what are my passwords? This is my set of passwords. So for each of this password I am calling these two functions, score password and strength label. So I'm iterating it here. Okay, so now let me run this. Okay, yeah, so password strength, yeah, you can see here for hello 123 it is medium, and password 1 is score 5. So these are my passwords and these are my scores. So I'm just trying to teach you from a assignment perspective. I know, see, these concepts might be a bit kind of overwhelming, or bit kind of not that. Now that means in the sense like you might already know it, but see, these are very key essentials for generative AI. So just be with us for one more week. Like next week, it will be very interesting. We'll be seeing on web, GUI, DBs, and next we'll directly jump into the AI segment. Okay, that is with machine learning. So from there, it is more interesting and more engaging. Definitely, you will enjoy this course. So but yeah, these are essentials. The basics are, so these are the very hard things. So basic things are hard and tough to not tough to learn. You need to spend, you need to revise, you need to recollect to be in that zone. Okay, so now let me go to this editor mode. Yep, so this is all about the assignment on strength checker. So now I will go with one more assignment which is called as data access wrapper. Yeah, see here what I am to do is, it's also a similar example. I have a data. This data is not a user profile data. Okay. Oh, my bad. Okay. So this is the profile. I need to compute profile score, name, age, and email. Here I have the profile has only name and age. Here the profile is empty. Here the profile I have is only, it has name and email. So I want to compute the profile strength, how good the profile is. If any data is missing, what should I do? So here user 1, the profile score is 100% complete, because I am telling these are required, name, age, and email. So a profile is there means in that profile these three information should be there. In real time, let's say you have a resume, and then you need to fill your educational details, when you passed out. So all those details you have to print. So those are must. So like that, here I have a profile. Sorry, and these are the required things I need to maintain in the profile. Okay. So now let's see how do you do it. Okay. So what are the other things you need to do here? So this is called data access. So let me do one thing. Yeah. So here it is telling you need to define get profile score, and you need to handle that key error. So this is assignment on exception, how to handle exceptions. So first you need to create one function, get profile score. So you need to ensure, okay, whether all the keys are there. If not there, give key error. If type error, so if there is if I am any passing data like this, give me a type error. And then finally you need and you need to also write a final block where you need to create this profile check. So in other words, you need to write try block, exception block, finally block. In that finally block you need to write profile check, and in the exception block you have now two exceptions. One is key error and one is type error. It's straightforward actually. So now let's look into the solution part of this. Okay. Okay. Yeah, as I said, we just need to write one function called get profile score. So here what I am telling is these are my list of users. So I am iterating through my users. Okay. So for the first user, I am calling this get profile score. So I am passing the user information, user profile, and I am also passing this required. What is mandatory in that profile? These three details are mandatory. So I come here. So user of field. So first is I am iterating through this again here. So for field in required field. So I am checking. So first I come here name. So is user of name is there? Yes. So then my particular profile is good. So I'm just putting some temporary variable found and I'm telling found is equal to +1. So now again I'm putting one more exception if that key is not there. So for example here I'm passing user of age, or if I'm passing a key none here. Yeah, so if that key is not there, just keep passing and then you just raise an exception key error and then continue with going to the next keys. Okay. So what happens here? Let's take this example here. So here user of name is Bob. So found plus is equal to 1 and its exception will not come. And I am iterating a different field now, age now. Okay. So the age is there here, not there. So what happens here? Age is there here, email is not there. So what happens here? Exception comes here and I am not incrementing the found. So it just keep going through here. It will pass and again it will go through the other required field. So like that, whether all these fields are present in the profile or it is missing from the profile. If it is present in the profile, just keep incrementing this value. If it is not present in the profile, raise an exception error. Okay. Catch that exception, but don't terminate the program. So the important thing here is don't terminate the error. Just keep going. Okay. And one more important thing here is what happens in the case of value none. So if I pass value none here, so an exception will come here. What is user of none? Nothing. It's a type error. So you are not passing a dictionary here. So now here type error will come. This exception will come. See here, if you are getting an exception in this block, but if that exception is not caught here in Python, what happens is it automatically check for any other exception is there. So then that exception will caught here in this type error. Okay. So it doesn't mean that I need to go ahead and take this exception and then I don't need to write it here. Okay. So it's up to you. You can write it here, but it's more simple ways you can write that exception here also. You don't need to ensure okay I need to write all thing in proper indexing. So that's the beauty of the Python when it comes to exception handling. Okay, so this is about exception profiling. So this is about exception handling. So you need to ensure the data is the exceptions are maintained properly. Okay. So now let's go into one more example. So am I going fast? The phase is fast or it is good? So so we have covered so far what went in week 2. We have 4 topics in week 2: functions, error hand exceptions, and then reading files, file operations, and async programming. So we have discussed in each topic one sample example. And after that, I am going to the assignment segment. So actually, I thought of practicing the code live, but because of the time constraints, initially we lost some time. I'm directly showing you the solution and explaining. From next time, I will try to type the code so you can just follow up with me and then you can manually type the code there. Okay. So now let's see what this is all about assignment on exception handling. So now let's look into one more exception on file operations, which is called as JSON Settings Manager. Yeah. So this is one more very interesting assignment. So you can keep practicing, but what we need to do here is, see, we have a default settings and we have user settings. Okay. So these default settings we need to write into the file, and whenever user passed some settings, I need to update this default settings. So for example, here, these are the default settings. So now user set his settings to theme is dark and font is size. So now the settings.updated JSON file should be created and this new setting should be updated. What will be the new settings? This theme is replaced light with dark and font size 12 is replaced with 14. So this is my default settings, and I need to write this into a file called settings.json. And then when I am passing user settings, I need to read these default settings and then see if there is any update. Yes, please update. And after updating, I need to write that updated settings into settings underscore updated.json. Okay. So this is about the assignment what we need to do. Okay. So this is the example. You can go through the code. So maybe so because it's straightforward. So let me go through the solution to so this is what I'm telling, JSON Settings Manager. So here you need to first write this entire information, default things into a file. This is how you write a JSON data into a file using JSON.dump, and you need to read these settings. This is called settings.json. So remember, this is a dictionary. Once you print, it will be a Python dictionary. And then how do you update the user settings with the default? So this is how you update, loader.update. So in the dictionary, there is a built-in function called update. So using this update function, you can update the user settings. And still this is a dictionary. Okay, because while you are loading the JSON data from the files, it is a Python dictionary. So here this is a JSON string. This is a JSON style string. Okay. This is JSON style string. So you're writing that string into a file, and then you are reading that from the file, and then you are updating. And here I am updating with good indentation. So after mine, now I am dumping my updated JSON data into a file called settings underscore updated.json, and then with loaded file indentation is equal to 2. Okay. So now let's compute this once. So let me close this. Let me run this again. Okay. So now let me run one more time. JSON Settings Manager. Okay. So now I will be seeing these 3D. Yeah, you can see here settings.json. This is what I am writing to the file. And then this is the updated file. So here you can see that font theme is updated and font size is also updated. So which means like, it is good now. Okay. So this is all about how to read. So remember, this can also be replaced by this function. You can first convert your loaded file into a JSON string. So you will use JSON.dumps instead of dump. Okay. You can convert and you can directly write into the file. Okay. So next we will see a different things. So we'll discuss one mini project here, so which is very much important. So we will see one project under asynchronous programming. Okay. Okay. So let me go to projects. Okay. Mini project solutions, not solutions. Let me go to questions. Async pipe log line. Okay. So here what I am doing is, here I have 3 log files. I have a system logs, I have app logs, I have DB logs. So now my requirement is very simple. I need to read this file, and then I need to tell how many error logs are there, how many info logs are there, and write that summary into one more file. Same for all this thing. See, now assume if asynchronous programming is not there, you are doing sequential. First you need to read this file, understand how many error logs, info logs, that statistics you need to collect, and then write that statistics into a new file. So let's say I have 1,000 lines here. So how much time it will take? And again, after this is complete, I need to read this. I need to compute the statistics and then write that statistics in another file. So this will take a hell lot of time. So now what happens if I do this in the asynchronous programming? Okay. So in asynchronous programming, what I will do is I will use that gather function. In the beginning of the session, we see that async IO gather. So I will be using that gather function and then writing that all the things. Okay. So now let's see how I will be doing this. So we have already provided enough hints also here. So but let me go through the solution once. Yep. So here I have logs, which is nothing but a list of strings. So here I am calling all these at a time. So async IO dot gather process file. So I am calling same function with different arguments. So first I am reading system logs, first I am app logs and db logs. What I am telling is, uh, this is what I am telling to write this into finally into app summary, db summary, like that. Okay. So here I'm what happening in the process file. First I read the logs, then I will count the count levels, and finally I will write the summary. So these are three different functions here. So what this function here, read logs, means first you need to write this into a file. Okay, I'm writing this into a file, and all are asynchronous function. You see here count levels and write summary are sequential functions. Okay, so you from an asynchronous function you can call asynchronous functions also, like a normal functions, because I am not using here any await here. So whenever await is there, I need to ensure that function is async. If there is no need of await, I will just, okay. So here all these three log files will be computed at a time, the process on all the three log files. So let us see that in action now. Yep. Okay. So all pipelines are complete. This is what I got. So system log is done and then updated. This is all statistics. This is the info log, warning log. So you can see the power of asynchronous here. You are able to do multiple things in parallel instead of doing it in sequence. Okay. So if you watch the content video there, you will get, okay, what is happening there. Okay. So yeah, so that's all about week 2 on asynchronous programming. So next week it is very interesting. We will be doing a lot of interesting things in GUI. So please pay attention to that session. So I'm happy to take if there are any questions. Yeah. Any questions on week 2 content, projects, assignment, please keep practicing. And week 3 content we will be posting by end of the tomorrow. Mostly by Monday morning you will be able to get that 3 to 4 videos, whatever you are getting. Okay. So I'm requesting everyone. So please ensure the session is engaging, and also if you need any between the content posting Monday to Saturday, if you need any time, we can put some calls in between. Some we are planning for that. We're trying to improve. We are finding ways to interact in a better way. Okay, so yeah, let's see that actually. So any questions you have? So please. Yeah. Yeah, I see one question in the group. What is asynchronous programming and in that solution? Yeah. So basically, yeah, asynchronous programming. Yes, typically, if you want to things run in parallel, as we see in that log example. So I need to do 3 operations in a parallel. So instead of doing one by one and waiting. So second task and third task has to be idle. So we have 3 tasks: task 1, task 2, and task 3. Yes, if the requirement is in such a way, task 1 depends on task 2, task 2 depends on task 3. If that is the case, yes, we need to run it in a sequential way, task 1, 2, 3. But each task is an independent task. Why should I wait? Why should I wait? Task 2 has to wait until task 1 complete. And why task 3 has to wait until both task 1 and task 2 is completed. So I can run in parallel. So for that, a concept called async programming has been introduced, and we have gone through the syntax. So async io.gather is the magic here. So we need to use this to run multiple calls in parallel. Okay. So to understand async io, you need to first understand what is async keyword, what is await keyword, do some practice and that. Okay. So I hope I'm clear on the week 2 content. So keep watching. So keep watching for week 3 content, and we'll post the updates in the Discord group. Yeah, thank you once again.